Okay, so Victoria got cut off, and we're going to get her back.
She's out west.
Yeah, she's out west, and things happen, but we got cut off. I think she's there now, but anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Well, you're there. So everybody, meet Victoria Chick if you haven't met her before. She's a contemporary figurative artist and an early 19th, 20th century print collector. And she's back on Big Blend Radio today, and I'm glad you're here. Welcome to our first show of the year.
It was kind of exciting there.
I know.
I was listening to the music, and all of a sudden we got cut off. And when I called back, I couldn't get anything. So anyway, I tried again, and here we are.
Can I blame it on Microsoft?
Can I blame it?
You can blame it on anything you want, I guess.
Well, we have
including
three companies that we really feel somebody needs to
I
look
think we're going
at.
to do a radio show soon on our technical issues. It's like right before Christmas, we're going to deliver 3 dramas to you, all in a nice little basket.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that, but I'm kidding around. But it's really good to have you back on the show. Everyone, Victoria is based in Silver City, New Mexico, an incredible art community. It's in southwest New Mexico, so check it out on your road trips. But also go to her website, victoriachick.com, and also read her articles. Go to blendradioandtv.com, just type in Victoria, and also nationalparktraveling.com. And excited, your miniature art, your portraiture painting articles in the winter 2018 issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. Okay, so we put that up on the website. I know you said that miniature things are like really popular, but what's going on with that? Because that seems to be going around on social media. Like, I don't know what it is, but what is with the portrait miniature thing? I put it up once and things go crazy. Why? It's a miniature thing.
I don't know. All it takes is one person with a large following to click on it, and pass it along, and then it's exponentially it goes out. But it's an interesting topic. Once people's attention are drawn to it, most people have not even heard of these things before.
Right. Yeah.
So I can see where the internet would be, particularly Facebook, would be a good way to spread the information about portrait miniatures.
But it went off on its own little tangent. That's like it just went off.
It's speed dating in history.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. It's speed dating.
The miniature portraiture. Yeah, because that's how people used to share their
like
photos and everything.
Here's a photo of my daughter,
painting.
And you're married.
I'll give you a cow if you like her.
Yeah.
Take her off my hands.
Boy. Now we're just going to send an image over the internet. I mean, you're going to take a picture, a little snapshot with your phone. It's going to look really nice, and off it goes into the atmosphere.
And then you'll get married online, and then when you move in, you'll find out you just married a woman.
Or a hologram. Or a man.
Or
dog.
A dog.
Okay.
Now.
All right. Before we get too carried away, I want to talk about Leighton Fossum, who is your latest topic, which will be in the spring issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. And I did some research on him, and it doesn't seem like he's had this amazing career, but like more needs to be out there about him. I think he's. I'm really glad you're bringing him up because I know when the last time we saw you in Silver City, which was a long time ago, in Silver City, we saw you. No, it's been too long since we've seen you in person, but it was a long time ago since we've been in Silver City, and we need to change that. And we have plans for that, by the way.
Good.
Yeah. There's things happening, everybody, in the new year here, 2018.
We're going to shake it up.
We're shaking some things up because we're good at it. But,
yeah, we are.
When we came out and we saw you and we were looking at his art, and I still like even looking at the images on your article, and everyone, if you go to blendradioandtv.com, you'll see the article there, Leighton Fossum. But looking at his art, like I was telling Nancy this at the beginning, I know he's a fine artist and he's an illustrator, and sometimes with illustrators, there's a very scientific thing that's going on. It's very like 100% realism, and everything's going to be exactly as it is. But he has this lighting and movement to his work that I think is absolutely incredible for the amount of detail he puts in.
Well, yeah, detail sometimes really cuts down on animation in a picture, I think. But I mean, you're right. Illustrators have this fantastic training. I mean, people don't. I don't think they're like Rodney Dangerfield. They don't get the respect they deserve, because they are really wonderful artists. They are great observers. A lot of their style can depend on who they mostly illustrate for, because they're working on commissions usually. They're not doing work and hoping it sells. So a lot of their work is driven by the marking for. Fossum spent a lot of his time in Minneapolis being a commercial illustrator. And I think during that time, he really honed his skills. He went to the Minneapolis Art Institute. He went for a while to the Art Students League in New York, which is really common for artists to do. And then he just sort of buckled down and started being a commercial illustrator, and he was successful at it. The way I know about him is kind of an interesting story, I think, because I had never heard of his name. I mean, we know about Norman Rockwell and other really, famous, a handful of maybe famous illustrators. Fossum I had never heard about, and he died in 2011. And the man who owned the art gallery, my art dealer, was asked by the people who he lived with to sell his artwork because he owed them money, and they went to the court. They got permission to sell his work to cover his debts. So my art dealer wound up with all this work, and I was really blown away when I saw it in back up in his art gallery, because it was such quality. Yes, he does a lot of detail, even though he became a fine artist after he retired and he moved to the Southwest. But he just roamed the Southwest. He was in love with cowboys. He really was crazy about horses. He liked the landscape. He liked everything about it. And he had volumes and volumes of sketchbooks where he was recording everything he saw. And he was into detail. And when you look at his paintings, they might appear to be oil paintings at first, or maybe acrylic, but he worked mostly in a material called casein, just has a sort of a milk base to it. And he used ink, sometimes pencil, and he would do the basic painting, and then he would go over it with these little teeny lines, and create this visual texture that was so believable. I mean, you looked at the painting and you saw an object that he had painted, and the texture on it, if you knew that if you touched it, you knew how it would feel in real life. If it was a brick, or if it was grass, or if it was leather, he was remarkable in his ability to do that.
That's attention to detail. One of the paintings that I really like is one with the bull in it, and it's just standing there looking at you. And Lisa and I have done enough hiking where there's cattle, and we know that head drop and that look of
what you doing?
That look of sometimes cattle, when they look at you, they can make you feel like you're the dumbest thing that ever walked the earth. They really. My grandmother used to say the only difference between a woman, that's funny, chewing gum, and a cow is the intelligent look on the cow. And and it always reminds me, and that's the first thing I saw when I saw that painting, because the cows they drop their head just enough to let you know they're looking at you like you're looking at them, and they have this kind of, they have soft eyes, but there's a kind of look where they just like, really, are you serious? And he got that in that painting.
He did. he really enjoyed. There were so many paintings that he did, and there's these paintings are still for sale. My art dealer moved to Georgia, and took the paintings with him, and they're still out there. I don't think he hasn't set up a art gallery down in Georgia. He's just painting. So he's kind of more like a storage facility right now for Fossum's paintings. But
wow.
Anyway,
how
they're
interesting.
good.
I mean, when you think about it, it's interesting how. Yeah, because let's just kind of go back up a bit because he came from Minnesota, right? And so then he was doing a different kind of career until when he moved out west. Because did he live in Silver City or was he in New Mexico?
No, he lived in Arizona for a short period of time, and he had art dealers over in the Tucson area. Then he moved over to New Mexico, and he lived, I believe, in Lordsburg area. Or between Lordsburg and Deming, and which is down by I-10. It's fairly close to the Mexican border. And he has roamed all over the place. Went to all these horse events, and so he really got a lot of background material. And he made friends with the cowboys. I don't think he ever was a horseback rider himself or a cowboy himself. I think he was. By the time he was in New Mexico, he was quite a bit older and probably wasn't participating in that except as an observer. But he had these friends, and he must have listened to some great stories because from about horse experiences and close calls and things like that would happen in the life of a person who was out on a ranch all the time. Because his paintings have this kind of storytelling aspect to them. So I said you see in a lot of his paintings, you see that a humorous incident is about to happen.
Yeah.
or maybe funny. Not so humorous, depending on your point of view. But there's that one painting where he calls it Dust Devil. And way in the distance, in the foreground, there's a cowboy on a horse, and above his head is a tumbleweed, almost in the face of the viewer, and it's remarkably detailed. But in the distance, you can see what caused it, and that's a dust devil, which is really, really common around here.
Now, that dust devil looks like a woman to me.
Well,
it does. When I first looked at it, I'm like, oh, he made it into a woman. And I'm like, no, it's just me. But I looked at it, and I keep looking at it, go further away, go, and looking at it, but it kind of looks like a woman. I'm not going to say who, but it looks like a.
Oh, you're getting specific.
It looks like a woman. You got to go look at it. And tell
Any woman in particular?
Yeah, it is somebody in particular. And if you go look at it, you can just.
I'm going to go look. Everybody, just go to blendradioandtv.com and just type in Leighton, Leighton, just so. Okay, I'm going to look at.
And see if you don't think it looks like a woman and who you think it is. It can be.
I think what you should do in your next magazine when you put that article in, you ought to have a contest of name the dust devil.
It looks like a woman. I'm like, he's calling women devils.
Well, look, and then there's I like the hooties in the background. Because it's almost like the one is waving or giving the bird.
But does it look like a woman to you? I see a woman's face and body.
See, I told you never know what happens on shows with Victoria.
I have looked at it like, hey man, that's cool. I want to do paintings where you make the clouds into people that people know.
But that's big.
I'm going to remind you. I'm going to remind you of this conversation the next time we talk about you can't read too much into an artist's work.
Okay, is that our next topic?
Yeah, but that's the beauty of it. You can read in what you want. Doesn't make you right.
It always helps if you have a glass of wine, and that's why wine is always at art receptions. But now I think to me it's interesting because people capture what they capture, and that is the beauty of art. I think part of the role of art is to, you could be, here's my message, but I think that one of the most important things is to get the other person that's viewing or listening or watching, whatever it is, to think for themselves. Uh-oh.
Yes, and you Fossum has stimulated conversation here, so that's good. That's
you
good.
go, Fossum. No, but I love that, and I love the buffalo, though. I really do, because, looking at that, it just puts you there, and again, like, he just has that. I don't know. He just really puts you there, but it's still got that. Like, I'm not copying a photograph, because so many realists
because it does come out like
do this photographic thing where
the hard edge versus
and he has a softness to it. In your article, you talk about these panels that I can't pronounce, like what?
Gesso
Panels.
Yeah, I just hey, I'm just making sure I don't.
He painted on the panels he used were masonite, and he would use masonite generally has a smooth side and a kind of a mechanical rough side.
Yeah.
He would use the smooth side, and then he would put gesso on it to separate the paint from the dark area, and probably he had to use untempered masonite. He didn't have any chemical on it to interfere with the paint. But
doesn't that warp? I know maybe it was just because we were living in Africa and on the equator at the time. But
I tried everything. I did my own gessoed panels on the smooth side and the rough side, and then I stretched my own canvas and put rabbit glue on them and
you used rabbit glue?
Yeah, and then sizing or whatever they call it, and then putting gesso on the canvas, and humidity is a big bummer.
It's a very hard thing. Yeah, a lot of one of the things that people will do with panels like that, they will what they call cradle the panel, and they'll take like a piece of like a 1 by or 1/2 by 1 inch or 2 inches piece of pine and just glue them onto the back, so that prevents them from warping. Yeah. But I've lived in humid areas where if you were going to use a panel, you would have to do that.
Yeah,
right now, there's not much humidity, so.
We're in Tucson, so we don't have any.
Well, we do in the summer. It's coming. But okay, I just want to go back to the cow. Like the cow's standing outside, or the bull. He's standing outside an old gas pump, and this is so interesting because he's got this old adobe building. Like this is so southwestern. But this pump, like, basically, I would say it's not been used because there's green around it. So this is, again, like an artist thinking. He's telling you of the times. Like, this used to be something and now it's gone, or, it's like it's abandoned. It's like, here it is, but a cow has taken over, or cattle.
And looking at you going, seriously, you did this?
He's just looking out. He's looking out.
Yeah.
He's looking out. He's like, what the hell? No, but that's what's so neat.
Yeah.
And then the other
man comes and goes, but the cow remains forever, or something like that. The steer. I think it's a steer. The steer remains.
Yeah. He's just looking out like this is mine now. He's taking claim. But there's the one with the horse, because I know he's big into horses. But there's the one of the horse, and there's like agriculture going on in the background, and it almost looks like a New England thing with the fall colors. And this horse is all prim and proper. Yeah, what's that about? Because the horse, I'm like, is that a race horse? Because then the horse has like bigger hooves.
It's a draft horse. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think he did that. He was still thinking back to his roots in Minnesota, because that background is pretty typical southern Minnesota. And although he was from northern Minnesota, but Minneapolis on south is the vegetation and stuff is more agricultural rather than forest. So I think he was harkening back to that. I bought that painting because it reminded me of Missouri, where I came from. And I was born in Minnesota, so there was some connection there too. But the horse is leading the guy, I think, in that painting.
Yeah. See, that's what's funny. But I mean, that happens. It's like, dogs take people for walks. People don't take dogs for walks.
Oh no, the dogs are totally taking people
even if it's
for
a yapper, they can come by that.
The little ones are the worst, because they see another person and they're halfway across the street by the time the person that's holding the leash is like, uh-oh.
And it's either like grab something, it's either humping something, biting something, or yapping at something. Okay, nice conversation. Nice conversation. But okay, but that's again, he's got this humor of like telling the story, like you're saying. That's what's so cool about this. It's like
Yes.
it puts you there. But okay, so that sky in the painting reminds me of Silver City skies too. So you got that too, that connection as well, because you have some epic skies, like the way the clouds move
Yeah.
in your area.
Well, I don't know. I think when I look at his work, I see things that I can recognize because I've had experience in an agricultural area or experience with horses, and so I pick up things that somebody who doesn't have those experiences may miss. However, they're going to see something else, and I think one thing about Fossum's work, if you saw his work on the cover of a magazine, say like a Norman Rockwell cover,
yeah,
I mean, there's enough going on that people, the average person, can relate to it because if they haven't experienced that directly, they've experienced something like it. And I think he was one of the. I mean, I'm sure there are, just to get back to illustrators in general, I think there's so many great illustrators that never have the immediate recognition that somebody like a Rockwell had. And maybe a lot of people today don't know who Rockwell even was. But
oh my God, don't tell me that.
No, but that's possible. Oh yeah.
But
yeah. Unfortunately,
it's interesting to me that he had a nice career, successful career, and then he was able to go on after that and take his talent in a different direction. And still in art, but his purposes were different, and I think he was successful in both careers that he had.
And now it's again go back to the illustrator part, like what you said about being like on the front cover of a magazine. You have to have that kaboom, eye-catching thing to make a front cover work. It's got to have something that draws people in, and there's normally like here's your icon or not, like even like the blend, like the cover we have right now for winter with all the musicians draw you in because there's movement with the musicians, like there's certain things that have to draw you in. Okay, there's the power of three, in composition and all of that. But what's interesting with him is he does draw you in with something, but there are all these little things if you spend time to look at it, but he does draw you in, but he has that soft movement that it's not uncomfortable. He's comfortable. Right. I'm not.
It's like Mama's apple pie.
Yeah, but I would like to see.
You are right. It's something when it's comfortable. You've got a good word for it because it's something we can all relate to.
I've never said that about art in my life.
There's
a weird word to use. Yeah,
there's a real talent to being able to what we call depth of field in photography is to have a background that it needs to be there for the comfort, but it's not exactly faded out, but it becomes not as important as the central figure of the painting, and he has that. Especially in the painting we're talking about with the horse, there are things that kind of fade into the background perspective-wise, and things that are central. And there's a talent to being able to do that, because when you come to realistic painters and illustrators, they can almost get a little bit flat. Like Japanese seem one-dimensional. Japanese art sometimes can be kind of flat-looking, like everything's at the same level. And
that's the style.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and when you get too realistic, you can go there with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
I know movement and a roundness that you don't get.
Yeah, because I've battled with that for a long time. Everything was supposed to be exactly what I saw perfectly, and then I realized, well, wait a minute. What's the point of the painting? Where's the central focus? Where's the real story of the painting? And you got to learn to do that, to fade out some. Like I'm looking at paintings I have here that I did that I'm like, man, that sucks.
No, don't do that.
No, there's different stages of learning, And I think that he had that ability as an illustrator to put the detail in, but still have the focal point there.
Yeah. Mm. Well, if you think about the way our eyes see, or how our brain interprets what our eyes are taking in, the things that are close to you are going to be detailed. The things far away aren't. And I've seen commercial artists. There was a commercial artist, really good one back in the 1950s, popular one, who did these wonderful turn-of-the-century landscapes, but everything was detailed. I mean, the background was as detailed as the foreground, and it was almost made you tired looking at it because although it was very well done, it wasn't restful in any way. Your eye didn't know where to exactly focus because everything was so important.
Well, that's
what I think
of. Grandma Moses paintings are like that.
Yeah.
It's like
yes.
You know what I mean? It's like
don't you be talking about Grandma Moses like that.
I mean, if that was her style, but everything was the same. You know, the same level of detail. There wasn't any soft or nothing there.
Okay, so let me go. I want to bring up my thing because I've been sitting and jumping up and down here.
Okay, sorry.
But it is sense of place, basically. He gives you sense of place, and he puts you in the story. And I was wondering, because I know you were talking about in his article that he's a pilot and an inventor and a patent holder. So when you and he served in World War II. I mean, this guy's done a bunch, and so he's like one of those people who just don't stop. But when you are a pilot, you see this broadscape from like the bird. You have the bird's eye view, and you understand how to see the big picture, and then bring it into focus. And also, as an inventor, you have to have a path of what you're doing to make whatever you're inventing work. There's a process, and I think those two qualities have got to tie into what he was doing. And he was a photographer too, right? I mean,
he wouldn't have called himself a photographer, but he did use photography while he was out looking at stuff. Yeah, he would bring things back to the studio along with his sketches. Yeah.
Okay.
Do we know what he invented?
Well, I saw a mock-up of something he invented, but I couldn't tell you right now what it is. What it was. It was something to do with smoking. But I can't.
I don't know.
I cannot.
Wow.
Send it to California.
No, not that. No. I'm talking about just a pack of cigarettes.
He likes to be high up in the sky. Sorry. Friday, first show.
But I mean, when his studio was after he died and when his studio was dismantled and the paintings would be taken away, the stipulation was that everything had to go. And so my art dealer, who was taking the paintings, took everything, to all his records, all his sketchbooks, his drawing board, which was fantastic. Because on his drawing board, I mean, I would love to have his drawing board as much as one of his paintings, because on his drawing board he tested everything he did, every texture he tested first, and so there are all these little vignettes of his. It was like he's experimenting, and so it's really, really interesting. But anyway, he all his records from his invoice books from when he was a commercial artist, his pilot license, his invention, the letter he received, typewritten from the patent office. All that stuff. I mean, there's a really complete picture of the things he's accomplished in his life.
That's interesting.
Wow.
He should write a book.
I know. This is. I know.
Yeah. I mean, there's gaps. There's gaps. You'd have to extrapolate, because there's really nothing about his family. He never married that we know of, and he moved away from Thief River Falls in northern Minnesota, when he was a very young man, and went to Minneapolis. But basically, he just spent his life in art.
Wow.
I think there's something with that. You get into that zone. You get into your own zone, and it's like, I just number one love the name Thief River Falls. Like I want to go there because of the name and find out the history behind it, because that's interesting. Something went down. You know, by the way, Billy the Kid, Silver City, New Mexico, where you are. I just saw a thing about it on TV.
So much fun.
And I was just watching the history of it, and I swear that they filmed it in the cabin that's outside the visitor center in Silver City, where he came out of the cabin. I mean, it's like the supposed cabin, like, or a replica of it. Yeah. And I swear they filmed it there, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was
he moved out of Silver City when he was still pretty young. He got in trouble. He first got in trouble in Silver City, but
and then he
went.
And they talked about Silver City on it, and we're like,
he escaped through the chimney.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on Drunken History. If anybody watches that
History.
No, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, but it's really an interesting way of teaching people history. Drunk people tell you history, and then they reenact it with a drunk person's voice. It's really quite interesting. It's a whole other thing. But anyway,
I like it.
I know. We were thinking about you. I was going to call you. Go watch Drunk History. It's like it's only midnight. But the other thing, he did educational stuff, like educational books, children's books. So Black Cowboy, the story of Nat Love.
When he was still a commercial artist, he did do some illustration, and he did one children's book. In fact, there's a copy of this book in his that I saw in his in his possession there. It was about a guy named Nat Love, and I don't know if it was a true story or not. It kind of looked like it to me, but it was Nat Love was a black cowboy, and this was published in 1970, and he did the illustrations for it. A lady named Charlotte Clark was the author. I never did find out if he did any more book illustration. He was real tied up with a fishing lure, which if you're from Minnesota, this is a big deal.
Fishing is part of your life, yeah.
But he got involved with a company called Rapala, I think, and he did catalogs. He did illustrations for them of their fishing lures, and he always did this big, cover with the fish, jumping out of the water, being caught by a lure. So those things that he did, the original illustrations, none of those were in his possession when he died. The company probably owned those. So, but I know that even reproductions of those old catalog pictures are collector's items.
Wow, that's neat, man. I love it that you find people like this. I mean, you always you come on shows with these different, artists, and I love artists that do different things like that, like Ted DeGrazia and stuff that just they don't have that limit.
No, but it's also to survive as an artist or a musician. Sometimes you just got to do a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah, I know. I love it. So, okay, everybody, again, Victoria's article is up on blendradioandtv.com. Just type in Victoria or Leighton Fossum, and it'll be in the April issue, spring issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. Of course, go to her website, victoriachick.com. But what is happening in Silver City? I mean, you've got little snow, I believe, at one point. Do you think you're going to get more?
We had snow on Christmas, but on New Year's it was 67. So we are in a wonderful weather pattern right now as far as temperature goes. We wish we would have rain and snow, really, because the Southwest needs rain and snow periodically, and but I'm just enjoying the weather. I've been going out hiking.
It's been warm.
I did some hiking on the Continental Divide Trail last week, and I'm getting ready. I'm the trail master or mistress for the Nan Ranch competitive trail ride. So I've been working on developing a 30-mile trail for that.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
That's been lots of fun.
That is awesome. I
Wow.
love that. I love that. And everybody, you got to go. Silver City's so cool. It's so cool. We're gonna see you guys soon. We've got things up our sleeveys as always. Every
Yeah.
time the new year changes over, part 1, 2, 3, or 4 of the plan is happening. So we'll be there.
Yeah.
But okay, so I always like to play a song for you. And I had
Uh-oh.
to change the song again. I know it's like no, I
Yeah.
changed the song because no, and I
I
thought
like
of
the
it
last
earlier,
song
and
you
then I was
did.
like, but it's because you kept talking about horses and cattle, so I thought we'd play horses and cattle, and
Okay.
it's from Mike Muto, who's from Silver City, off
Oh,
of
great.
his album Spirits Still
There you
Remain.
go.
Spirits Still Remain, and since Leighton Fossum went out, all over the place in New Mexico and here in Arizona and Tucson, and his work was here, I just thought we'll play something regional and go, with what he paints. So horses and cattle, and Mike Muto, everyone, MikeMuto.com, you can go there. Or Mutu is actually how you pronounce it, but we call him
Yeah.
Mike Muto.
He's a great cowboy poet. I could just read read his stuff or listen to him recite, and for all evening, because the guy is really entertaining.
He is. He's super cool, and
Yeah, he
an
came
incredible.
out to Tucson a while ago and did a performance, and he didn't really tell us, but we found out and we went, and he was totally surprised, and it was interesting to just pop up there and see the audience reaction to what he was doing.
Yeah, he was here in Catalina State Park. It was when we first moved.
Oh,
back
wow.
here. Yeah, and he was playing, and they had little twinkly lights under this beautiful
awesome.
tree, and cactuses all around, and there were big tarantulas on the ground. It was cool.
I know, that was kind of
that was the coolest part.
It was a migration.
I know, but come on, tarantulas are cool.
They're way cool.
But but it's part of it's part of the terrain of this area, and so I just figured we'd play that.
Yeah.
And besides, it's comes out of your neighborhood, your hood.
Yeah,
Victoria.
Right. I mean,
Well,
this
and
is
you've
from
also
the
got
hood. I like it.
Okay. Oh, real quick. Elk sightings.
Yeah.
Yes, we have had elk around.
Cool.
And deer, and we've had a lot of bear scat in our yard. So they're visiting at night, apparently.
Aren't they supposed to be hibernating now?
It's too warm for them to hibernate.
Yeah, the bears are going crazy here in Madeira Canyon. Apparently, we need to take bear spray if we go hiking up
well,
here.
Well, I suppose if you're a bear in Florida, you're hibernating.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start telling bear jokes. You don't want me to do that.
Right now, because it's so warm, everything is pretty active, and so I think I don't know, bears are pretty much omnivorous, and they're as far as berries and stuff, that there's not much of that. There's still juniper berries on the trees, and they do like those.
Ooh, yeah, 'cause
and as far as meat, I don't want to be in the area. I don't want to become dinner. So
that's funny.
It's so hard to think of a bear taking down, a deer, but they do once in a while.
Animals do their thing when they need to. I mean, it's pretty amazing what nature does, And
it just seems so weird that they're not hibernating.
Yeah, I hope we get some rain in the next couple of weeks, because like at the end of January, if we can get some good solid rain, it'll be a really good wildflower season.
Yeah.
Just saying that from my personal thing, but I also know the deserts need rain. But we had a really good monsoon season, all of us. So, hopefully that will.
This last year was fantastic. As far as rainfall. Yeah. And so if it's dry this year, well, we just have to expect that and not panic.
I know. Don't panic. It's like it's just the way it is. Deal with it, and don't use so much water.
Don't waste.
I know. Don't brush your teeth with the faucet running the entire time. Just like get on my soapbox, But anyway, and you don't need to use that much water when you use a soapbox. Okay. All right, Victoria.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us as always, everyone. VictoriaChick.com. Go to her website, have a look at her work, and also her print collection, which good luck with having her part with one, but sometimes you do. Sometimes, if it's the right home or, sometimes. But good luck.
Okay. Well, no, I am.
Good luck.
I'm still collecting, so. But I enjoy sharing. So if anybody wants to talk to me about prints, I'm always happy to accommodate them.
Right on. And so, and when people come to Silver City, they can meet with you by appointment, right? In your Cow Trail Art Studio?
Yeah,
by appointment.
I'm usually here, but it's best to give me a call first.
Yeah,
absolutely. Or to email.
Yeah, because she's a trail madam. She's a trail madam now.
My trail master responsibilities are taking a lot of my time.
And she's on a horse. She has a new kitten, and she lives really on the cow trail.
Okay, wait. One burning question. What's your kitten's name?
Yeah.
He's a gray cat, and his name is Zane.
Zane?
Z-A-N-E. Zane Gray.
Oh, you're so vain?
No. No, that's V-A-I-N.
Right now, I'm really so scratched is what I am, because he is quite active.
He's a kitten? He's a real kitten.
But
he's a kitten,
are cool.
yeah.
Okay.
Kittens are so cool.
Awesome. Well, have fun. Have fun and say hi to Mike, and Happy New Year to you both and to your new kitten and all the critters in Victoria land, the madam of the trails. But here it is, everyone. Horses and cattle, and it's Mike Moutaux, Moutaux. He's an incredible photographer, so check him out on Facebook as well. He's always got deer and baby javelinas and all kinds of things that happen on his property.
Cool.
So check him out and keep up with him and his concerts. Thanks so much, Victoria. You take care.
You too.
Thanks.
Talk to you next
I'm glad you made it on the show.
Me too.
Here it is. Horses and Cattle, and again off of the album Spirits Still Remain.
Spring on the ranch and the cattle are restless. It's been dry, the grass still ain't grown. They've knocked down a fence and now 20 are missing. We need to find 'em, bring 'em all home. But the cattle are scattered all over the place, down the draws of the slopes in the trees. There's only one way to get 'em, I'm thankful for that, with horses and cowboys like me. Summer on the ranch, new calves will need branding. We'll gather them up at first light. It's a pretty big pasture, we've got extra men. We're all gonna sleep good tonight. 'Cause the cattle are scattered all over the place, down the draws of the slopes in the trees. There's only one way to get 'em, I'm thankful for that, with horses and cowboys like me. Horses and cattle, the cowboy's life, it takes both to set a man free. The cows make you money, horses bring pleasure. Together, they're all that we need. Fall on the ranch, we're shipping the yearlings, busiest time of the year. We've loaded the trucks, the boss got a good price. The smile on his face says it's clear. 'Cause the cattle were scattered all over the place, down the draws of the slopes in the trees. There's only one way to get 'em, I'm thankful for that, with horses and cowboys like me. Winter on the ranch, we're feeding the cattle, using a pickup most days. Now and then there's other work to be done, I love to hear the boss say, well, the cattle are scattered all over the place, down the draws of the slopes in the trees. Saddle your horse and meet me back here. Today you're riding with me. When the cattle are scattered all over the place, down the draws of the slopes in the trees, there's only one way to get 'em, I'm thankful for that, with horses and cowboys like me.